All right, before I get into this video, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. Some of you may or may not know, I'm in Australia right now. I've been here for a couple of weeks, visited Jordan Bennett, Bennett's Customs. I just did the Motor X show in Melbourne, and I'm off to Sydney for the next few weeks to do a couple classes with Motor Retro, and then one more weekend at the Hot Rod and Custom show. So, definitely check me out there. If you're in Australia and you want to stop by, that'd be great to see you guys. I'm having a great time out here. Somebody who's not having a great time right now is a dear friend of mine. This is like the news like really caught me off guard because this is kind of everybody's worst nightmare that has a shop. And Brent from Halfass Kustoms, who, if you're following the Rap project, he came all the way from Manitoba, like slept on my couch, and just helped me thrash on this truck. He is like salt of the earth, great guy. His wife Esther as well, like they're just awesome people. And the worst thing that could happen happened while they were on the way back from Lone Star Rally. They were on a road trip down there, and they got word on their way back that his shop was burning down. It's the most terrible thing. And a lot of you have already helped if you've seen posts on Instagram or posts by other YouTubers. This is me trying to reach out to some of my subscribers here and say that if you can help out a guy that is he would never ask for it. There's been a GoFundMe organized for Brent and Esther to help rebuild the shop and kind of get them back on their feet. They do have insurance, which is great, but that doesn't cover a lot of the things that went up in there. There's things that are irreplaceable. There's things that, I'm sure will be a problem to have the insurance company take care of. So anyway, he's not having a great time right now. He's got, his spirits are good. He's definitely the kind of person who always looks on the bright side and doesn't, dwell on the negative stuff that happens in life. He's always moving forward. But this is just something that we can do to help him out, cheer him up, and make sure that he continues to, provide awesome videos and awesome content for you guys. I know that he started his YouTube channel not, in order to make money and turn it into a career. He did that so that he could just kind of share with the world some of the tools and techniques, and he does the same thing that we do on Make It Kustom, right? He's just there sharing as much knowledge as he can because he's an extremely knowledgeable person that just believes that everybody should have fun playing with cars. So anyway, I just want to let you guys know before we get into the video that that's what's happening with Brent, and I've put a link in the comments to his channel as well as the GoFundMe for Brent as well to just try and help him out. So thanks a lot, everybody. Let's get into the video. And if you're in Australia, and I've met you already, thank you guys for coming by Motor X in Melbourne and coming by Bennett's for the meet and greet. And if you are in Sydney or have a chance to, I'll be at the Hot Rod and Custom show out there. So let's get into it. Thanks. Okay, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Make It Kustom. Yes, this is the ramp truck. Yes, I have done some work on it. Yes, I did lose all the footage. So let's show you guys, bring you up to date on where the ramp truck's at, and we're gonna do a bunch of work on the ramp truck right now today as well. So please don't forget to like, click subscribe, hit notifications. Let's get into it. All right, so this ramp truck episode was supposed to originally be on doing the 4-link. I ended up redoing the entire 4-link brackets on the whole rear end. The old brackets, the way they were spaced, where it was, top fulcrum, center of the axle, and then bottom fulcrum of the bracket, because they were evenly spaced, I wanted to do a diagonal link across the bottom. Well, actually you can see now, this is the diagonal link I wanted to build with this chassis. So I have on the exact same pivot as the lower 4-link bar on the front passenger side, diagonally to the lower 4-link bar on the driver's side rear. So that is the panhard bar, that is the Watts link, that is what centers the rear end left and right, called a diagonal link. I did that with the old 4-link brackets because of how the lower 4-link brackets were placed in relation to the rear end. That diagonal link ran into the drive shaft. So I lowered that and built new brackets. I also added shocks to the rear end as well and incorporated that into the brackets so that they kind of share the plates. So I ended up redoing all the brackets on the rear end is what I'm trying to say. So, this is Leo. Hola. Hola. These are the brackets. They're a little bit longer at the bottom here so that this diagonal link gets a little bit lower. The same plate that is sharing the load of the airbag, this plate and this plate, is also built to take the lower bolt of the shock. That way it just kind of all works together. So that is the update. I do have the shock mount up here, just a simple tube cross member, a couple of plates, hold on to it. It's nice and beefy. Here is that diagonal link, how it mounts to the lower front 4-link up here. A little bit of light, hopefully that helps you out. Anyway, that is where we are at. I'm sorry I lost the footage, but I don't even know how that happened. What's today, Elio and I are gonna work on figuring out how we get the shifter to work on the ramp truck. Today, we're gonna make the shifter happen. What we have to work with is this neat little unit. This unit is a column shift unit from, I think, like a 2000 Chev pickup. So it has some little detents here that, you know, we're in park right now. It has this, you know, park switch as well. That would be reverse, neutral, drive, 2 and 1. So what I would like to do, because this is actually the unit from this transmission from that shifter cable, what I can do is incorporate this into the truck somehow as the shifter. I will definitely be redoing this arm. And a couple of ways we were looking at it, we were looking at making it a column shift again, we were looking at making it a floor shift. And what I think we will do, because of the restrictions we have with the way the floor is, how long the cable is, all that kind of stuff, we've got this little pocket here. I'm gonna scooch a little bit over so Elliot can show it. This is kind of the center in between the seats, and this little pocket is kind of perfect to mount this unit underneath. So I will cut a slot right here so that we can have a custom shifter come out and be the actual shifter, but this unit will be hidden underneath the floor, mounted to the cab. We will bolt it on with 3 bolts. This right here actually is what pulls the cable. So this has to be pulled out and pulled back, and it could work just like a column shifter. The one thing I'm worried about is that the spring is not enough, so we'll probably have to add a spring holding it because gravity isn't holding it down. We'll have to add a spring to mimic gravity holding it sideways, but this will essentially be a floor shift unit with a cable linkage is what I would like to do. Underneath the floor, we'll be able to mount this cable that comes from the transmission. It's right here. It's nice and long. So this mounts to here, and it can all be underneath this little bubble. That bubble to me looks like it would be, you know, right where a shifter would be anyway. So that's kind of the plan. We're gonna build a plate that mounts this shifter up underneath, cut a slot into the floor, build a custom shifter, one step closer to driving the ramp truck and using a bunch of junk that we've got laying around. So stick around, let's do it. Well, that's a lot better. We just went ahead and cleaned the whole truck out because, to be honest, it was really gross. I don't know if some of that was from all the firemen smoking cigarettes or if it was just all from rust stain, but it had a film of dirt on everything. It was disgusting.
It was very yellow.
Everything was quite yellow. Now it's actually, we can confirm it was a white truck on the inside originally. So looks a lot better, feels better. Now we're gonna start figuring out where we put this shifter. So I just made this bit of a jig here, not a jig, a template, just to tell me where this stuff is at and where this flange is at on both sides. The reason being is that I would like my plate that holds the shifter itself that I'm about to design up underneath here. I would like the plate to be removable, and I would like there to be a flange here and a flange here that we can actually physically bolt to the sheet metal from the inside of the cab. So maybe we have some threaded spots on the bracket itself or some welded nuts so that I can actually use maybe like a 5/16 coarse thread bolt, 4 of them, that hold onto the plate that holds this shifter up underneath. That's kind of the reason behind the template, and knowing where the throw is hopefully we can completely make this bracket outside of the vehicle and then just bolt it in. Okay, so right now, this kind of works, but it kind of doesn't. Where I have the flanges tight up against the sheet metal for it to bolt on, we then have a clearance issue with this hitting the bubble. So unfortunately, that is unfortunate. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to get rid of that clearance issue, other than extending the bubble or dropping this a little bit further down and further back would bring it away, which means that this piece might not work anymore. But we're gonna have to see. It's gonna be a little bit finicky. I think I might start by just drilling these two bolt holes in there and seeing if we can bolt that up and then let it bolt away down a little bit. If we've got to put a spacer plate here and a spacer plate here that allows this full range of motion to still happen, maybe we have to cut a little bit more away. That could be a way of solving it. It really isn't hitting much, but it is hitting. So I think that's where I'm gonna start with anyway. We'll drill a couple holes here to locate this, and then we'll just start playing with how far away we can get it. All right, so here's our bracket, all done, spray bombed it. Seems like it should work pretty good. We ended up having to put these spacers on about 3/4 of an inch to give us clearance for this mechanism that was hitting the edge of the bubble on the passenger side, but now it looks like it should clear. We've got nuts welded onto the bottom side just to make it really easy. We've got nuts welded to on the bottom side of this so that it's just nice not using a wrench when you're assembling something. So now these bolts should be able to go through the floor and into this bracket to hold it up. We'll drill these two back ones up from underneath and then drop bolts into them as well. Just knee bend it? No? My knee's not as strong as steel. Okay, I'm gonna bend this shifter somehow. I'm probably gonna cut it off right about there. And then we're gonna kind of just do one of these with it. See where it comes up. If we end up anywhere in this vicinity, I think it'll be nice. I'll use the torch and maybe bend it over to closer to the driver's side or something. But yeah, we're gonna use this nice tapered early Ford shifter. I know some of you guys might be crying, but at least it's making it on a vehicle. something to bend it on. Hey, a little more. A little more. A little more. Something like that. Need wire brush. Hold on. Something like that. Maybe it could go over. Maybe it should go over. Honestly, that's actually a really good spot. I mean, that's you in park. I think that's perfect. Okay, where would we be? That would be first gear. Oh, look at the throw on that. That's a lot of throw. Like that's first gear. That's drive right there. That'd be in drive, so you're not interfering with the potential bench seat if you had one. That would be park. I guess the only way to do is just try. Let's just tack it. Is it welder on?
It can be.
Just gonna give it a little tack. A little tacky too. Oops. Ow! Things are hot. Things are hot. Things are happening. Things are burning. Okay. Oh, she's tacked anyway. There. Here's your... Looks like a stick.
It does.
It looks like it's got like a floor shift stick, but it's like... Oh, look at lockout works nice because it's got that spring in there. It is a little bit weak, the spring, like that. It's pretty easy, but we call that reverse, neutral, drive, or sorry, overdrive, third, 2, oh, 1. Look at the throw on that thing. It's like, that's a bit of throw. Is that too much? I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. You're gonna be partying mostly right there. Drive. Well, that's overdrive.
I really think you should just make a nice handle for the bottom there.
Elliot wants it to be like 3 inches long. He wants it to be like...
You're never gonna be changing gears.
No, but like, what's wrong with that? And then like, that's...
I think a bit more forward, just so then...
That's drive right there.
Like in park, a bit more forward.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely get it more forward in park.
Yeah, just so then when you're in drive, it's not...
Yeah, that's drive. If drive was right here, it'd be a little better.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. Okay, pass the torch. Please, sir, may you pass the torch?
Do you have the striker?
I have a lighter engine.
Nice.
Do you think we need a secondary bend in that shifter, or do you think we need... yeah, what do you think?
I think just fix the original bend.
Just unbend it a bit?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe my lighter is out there.
Oh, yeah, it is. It creates fire.
You just think I need to just undo the original bend a little?
Yeah. Like park is like a knuckle buster.
It's kind of too close, isn't it? Oh, that's drive right there.
I think that's better.
Drive's right there.
But like,
My weld's just broke. That'd be overdrive, drive, overdrive, neutral, reverse, park. She's always a little dicey going up. We're just such a heavy thing. Just kind of not sure sometimes, but yeah, everything's fine. There's our bracket. What we have to do next is we have to, and the reason why we're doing this up is we need to make sure that this cable is actually, oops, uh-oh. It doesn't look like it's gonna be long enough. This cable needs to be there. It's only long enough when the cab is tilted up. That's a bad thing. Your cable doesn't quite reach. I was hoping it would, but it doesn't. Man. I'm not sure. I'm still thinking. What are we gonna do? I don't know. We're gonna look at this though. Look at how great of an idea that was. It's pretty cool. Looks like cool, but it looks like we do not have enough travel for this guy. Which means that we might have to put it on this side. And have some kind of like cantilever.
I mean, you could. But if you put it on this side, why don't we just change the back to the other side?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like
You
on
can't
the back.
change that.
Why?
Oh, you mean flip that forward so that this is backwards and that's backwards and then
Yeah.
it's right again?
Yes.
Would that work?
I don't know.
We are gonna figure something out. Okay, so regarding the dilemma of having not enough cable to do this while it's up, I think the plan is, Elio and I have discussed it, and how often are we really lifting the cab on this thing after the cab and chassis are built? Not very often. So I think rather than modifying and making a new shifter cable and trying to make everything long enough so that you don't have to undo anything if you were to ever flip this cab, also keep in mind that the engine is behind the cab, so engine access is from the deck. You really, really don't need to flip the cab unless you need to paint stuff. I don't know.
Maybe change
like
the radiator?
rarely would you be flipping the cab and you'd be doing some major service. So that shifter linkage, the shifter cable itself, is also like a pop on and off type linkage. Like this pops on and off. This also pops in and out of the bracket. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna bring the cab back down. We're gonna fab this all up so that if we are to flip the cab in the future, we just have to pop this off and pop this through, which is easy access through the window right above the shifter in the cab. So I'm not too sad about it. I'm a little sad about it, but I'm not too sad about it. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna drop this cab back down, hook this up, and then we're shifting.
Okay, so this is a little bracket I came up with. It's just gonna weld to the bottom of the cab in a structural area of the floor. This is what I cut off of the actual steering column itself that I got the shifter from. So this is the proper mount for that cable. So there it is. There's the shifter. Once that cable is locked in place, it should work. Just gotta clean this little area and give ourselves a weld there. We might have to brace it a little bit more because it is a little bit thin. Oh, it's the seam sealer. All right, well, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Here's the shifter, and we have shifting. There is some to be desired with this thing. I think that, like, you know, it works. It's a little bit floppy. It seems like park is a little bit tough. Like, I think we're stretching that cable. We might have to go to a longer cable for it to be nice, but we come out of park, it all fully works. I don't know. Park just feels like it's kind of like bang, you know? Like it's got some friction on it. But other than that, I'm really happy with it. I think it's like a really nice, easy, cheap way to make a shifter. And using all the original stuff, it doesn't look out of place. It's got this nice, sleek little knob on it. It's got a nice tapered shaft on this, and maybe we could do some kind of a boot over top of this. Some kind of just a small little boot. But yeah, overall, super happy that we got some progress on the ramp truck this week. What's next is gonna be brakes. We're gonna do an underfloor brake setup with the Hydro Boost that we took off of the pickup truck that the engine and transmission came from. So that Hydro Boost came off of this chassis. That's right. So next up will be Hydro Boost. We're gonna have to do gas pedal as well. My goal is to get this thing like driving under its own power in the next few days. That is the goal. So one thing off the list, it does shift. There are some improvements that I would like to make so that the shifter feels better, but I mean, it works. And yeah, like I said, next we're gonna do brakes, we're gonna do gas pedal, and we should be able to at least drive around the yard, do a couple burnouts. So I wanna thank everybody for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Please let me know in the comments if you've got any ideas on how to make this setup a little bit better. And let me know also what you wanna see next on the channel. I mean, the ramp truck, everybody's been asking for, so I've got a little bit happening on that. I'm gonna get back on the Model A, and yes, the Zephyr is coming up. For those wondering about the Cadillac, it is in storage until further notice. Same thing with the van and the 64 Impala. So yeah, drop a comment, like, share, and don't forget to hit notifications. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye-bye.